I think we all want to be unique, and what that means in the modern era can frequently be somewhat muddled, as it often feels like a struggle to find meaning in the everyday. When the world is now seemingly so small, and everything is connected and compared and dissected, it can be hard to know where you fit in, and what your role even means in the grand scheme of things. For me, that is where creativity comes in. It is an opportunity for self-expression, a chance to exhibit your own vision, and to stand out. To create something that no one else has ever seen before, and that only you could make. Creativity at the macro level helps enable us as a species to move forward, and is an ability that is increasingly valuable in the world. Perhaps if we dissect what is required to be creative, we can better understand where it comes from and how to enhance our efforts towards being more creative ourselves. A certain amount of fearlessness comes into play when embracing your creativity, as you have to be able to handle some level of uncertainty and be able to try out new approaches to existing established conventions. And your efforts might not always work and could result in failure, which can be disappointing and disheartening. So some level of bravery appears to be a prerequisite. Vision seems to be a key ingredient in creativity as well. And you need to have a willingness to embrace ideas as they come to you and trust in the process. Where those ideas come from could be any number of things. Direct observations from real life experience, or maybe inspiration derived from a similar or disparate source that allows you to combine and refine existing ideas in a way no one else has thought of before. A lot of advancements come through subtle, slow iterations of a single idea until the truth is more fully revealed. Bettering yourself and your work through trial and error, practice, and further education can be a cornerstone of this approach. As remember, behind a great work of art is always a story, and thousands of hours of work and countless bits of inspiration. We just only see the finished, perfected piece, not what was required to get there. On this journey, we get to be the vessel for the creative process, and let our own personal filter and collection of influences guide our minds and hands towards bringing something new to life. And maybe it is just me, but it certainly does seem like in life some people have more ink in that well than others, where being creative and thinking differently appears to come easily to them. On one hand, I would certainly assume that these individuals innately have a mind with a larger capacity for seeing things in ways that others might not as easily grasp. But I also think that they have liberated themselves from consequence and fear of failure to allow themselves to tap into that naturally creative part of their being more fully. And perhaps the more we allow ourselves the freedom to enter that state of being, the more creative we can be. Thus, there is an element of practice and discipline towards activating that part of yourself that can be nurtured and grown in all of us. For me, when I'm creating something, whether a drawing, a piece of writing, or anything I'm trying to design and enhance, I have an inner sensibility, a vision of how I look at things that allows me to evaluate them against my own instincts. For when I see things and assess them creatively, I determine whether or not it is in alignment with my own sense for how it should be. That is my unique lens, my own sense for beauty, for art, for ideals that are innate only to me, making that comparison and benchmark personally valuable. So then the goal becomes creating things that I love and that I'm happy with that meet that personal standard. Because that's authenticity. That is as unique to each of us as our fingerprints are, and is what I myself aspire to. Then it is on others to determine if they share that sensibility or not, which is what allows our creative work to speak to everyone and take on a life of its own. The takeaway thus seems to be to stay true to your instincts, to be brave and give yourself the room to create without fear of failure, to soak in life, to touch, to see, to feel, and taste new experiences, as that will help grow your pool of inspiration, and then work towards perfecting your efforts to be in alignment with your own inner sense of creative truth.